Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Salih bin Muhammad Sabri with metric number 3231281. So for the subject philosophy of Islamic science, the task that had been given for us is to do a final project, and the topic that I had choose to do this final project is the agenda of Islamic science and the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge. So basically, in my final project, I have done a study that explores how rational and real knowledge intersect in Islamic thought, blending tradition, empirical inquiry, and religious discourse, which is I emphasize the need to incorporate various knowledge sources beyond empirical methods, and also I highlight the unity between religious beliefs and scientific principles. And my writing also delves into Islamic texts, scientific paradigms, and also historical context to examine their agreements and conflicts. And scholars like Syed Muhammad Naqli Alatas, Mustafa Sabri, and Ibn Taymiyyah discuss, which emphasizing the integration of modern scientific ideas with religious beliefs. So ultimately, the study aims to reveal the complex relationship between rational and revealed knowledge within Islam. The first part on my final project, I put a review on scientism. So, which is, we know that scientism is a belief that all of the things can be solved by a science. So I put some review on scientism, which is I provide a balanced perspective on the limitations of science, contrasting its remarkable contributions with the recognition that it doesn't encompass all aspects of reality. So basically, I put some review that emphasizes the empirical method's strengths in understanding the natural world, but highlights its boundaries, particularly regarding non-observable phenomena like God's existence, aspects of consciousness, and metaphysical questions. And also I put some critiques that mention about the misconception that science is the sole path to truth, with highlighting that some truths, such as logical and mathematical principles, lie beyond strict empirical inquiry. And it cautions against overlooking the inherent limitations of scientific methods, emphasizing the importance of acknowledging diverse sources of knowledge. So overall, the review that I have discussed on this part is to advocate for a more comprehensive understanding of knowledge acquisition, which is it suggests that while science is invaluable for understanding the natural world, acknowledging its limitations allows for a more holistic approach that incorporates different credible methods in pursuit of a deeper comprehension of reality. So these perspectives, for me, it encourages appreciating science significance while embracing a broader spectrum of approaches to enhance our understanding of the world. So for the next part, I put a review on the conflict between science and religion, I mean the Islam. So I put 8 review on the conflict between Islam and science. So the first one is science and Quranic alignment, which there is a caution against asserting a perfect match between the Quran and contemporary science due to the evolving nature of scientific theories. So I mentioned that the risk of misinterpretation exists when forcefully aligning the Quran with current scientific ideas. And the advice is to approach this topic with care and also respecting established norms of the Quran interpretation. The second one is conflict between science and Islam. I highlighted that the belief that Islam and science can never conflict overlooks the fallibility of scientific knowledge, which is, I mentioned that it constantly evolving. So it suggested that anticipating conflicts between certain scientific ideas like evolution and Islamic beliefs doesn't necessarily undermine faith. And this perspective emphasizes that human knowledge is limited compared to divine knowledge in religious texts. The third one is interpreting Quranic references. There is a call for a broader understanding of language and knowledge when interpreting Quranic references that seem in conflict with modern science. I mean, it challenges the assumptions that scientific language is the only way to interpret religious texts. These references might offer profound insights beyond current human knowledge. The next one is the diverse perspectives in science. I mentioned that there is acknowledgement of the lack of consensus within the scientific community regarding the definition and scope of empirical science, indicating different viewpoints. The next one is creationist views. I put a differences that there are differences between Western creationism and traditional Islamic beliefs in the direct creation of Adam are highlighted, pointing out distinctions in perspectives. The next one is harmony and conflict between science and religion. This part argued that established scientific facts don't inherently contradict genuine religious narratives, but conflicts might arise between certain scientific theories or interpretations and religious accounts, as well as between authentic and inauthentic religious interpretations. The next one is Islamic science concept. This concept proposes a scientific tradition rooted in Islamic principles, with integrating religious teachings with scientific exploration. I mean, it envisions dual-purpose institutions fostering scholar scientists equipped with both religious and scientific knowledge. The next one is feasibility of Islamic science. The feasibility means this vision depends on practical implementation, demonstration of tangible results, and acceptance within the broader scientific community. So this part aims to offer an ethically guided scientific pursuit aligned with Islamic values. So on this part, which is I discuss about the conflict between science and Islam, I propose the idea essentially suggests that while conflicts might arise between certain scientific theories and religious beliefs, a nuanced approach, respectful interpretation, and integration of Islamic principles in scientific exploration could pave the way for a possible Islamic science tradition. So its success would hang on practical execution and acceptance within scientific circles. Regarding to my topic, I had decided to put a discussion about the relation between science and theistic belief, which on this part, I mentioned that the connection between science and theistic belief is not merely a conflict but an underlying agreement. While there might seem to be tensions such as between evolution and belief in God, closer inspection shows these conflicts are not as significant as they might appear. Some arguments in contemporary science, like fine-tuning and biological arguments, hint at supporting theism. But beyond these arguments lies a deeper harmony between theistic religion and science that's worth exploring. Looking back in history, many influential figures in early Western science were devoted believers in God, this suggests that Christianity played a crucial role in the birth and growth of modern science, contrary to some claims suggesting the church hindered scientific progress. So the relevance of Christian belief in the context of science is intriguing. This thing had mentioned by Alvin Plantinga in his book, which it revolves around the concept of humans being created in the image of God, granting them the ability to understand essential truth. So this idea emphasizes the intellect as a crucial aspect of reflecting this divine image. It implies that humans created in this image have been given the capacity to grasp crucial aspects of the world and themselves. And moreover, there's an alignment between human cognitive abilities and reality that's attributed to this divine image. So this alignment is seen in various human faculties like perception, memory, reasoning, and the use of scientific instruments, all of it contributing to scientific inquiry. So however, for science to thrive, there needs to be a correspondence between our cognitive abilities and the world we are trying to understand. While our perceptions generally align with reality, we need to know that it is important to acknowledge that this alignment is not always guaranteed. Our cognitive faculties might not always produce beliefs that perfectly match reality due to limitations or evolutionary biases. When we're mentioning about the agenda of integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge and the concept of Islamic science, we need to know that there are no perfect samples of this idea, of this agenda. So we need an initiative that leads to this agenda. I mean the agenda of Islamic science and the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge. So in this part, I was mentioned that the concept of an Islamic philosophy of science face skepticism from those who advocate for a universal, global form of science untouched by religious categorization. And yet there exists a multifaceted Islamic philosophy of science comprising various streams or schools of thought with distinct approaches. So there are a few streams that bring the initiative for the Islamic science concept. So this stream is accommodative, reformative, traditional, textual, and conceptual. And these streams don't necessarily divide Islamic scholars into conflicting factions, except for the modern secular liberal stream, each having its own strengths. I mean, for each streams, they have their own pros and cons. Okay, let's take a look on the first one. The first stream is the accommodative stream, which is this stream emphasizes harmonizing scientific advancements with Islamic teachings, with facilitating their seamless integration. So this stream underscores compatibility, ensuring scientific progress align with Islamic ethics and morals, fostering a synthesis between scientific knowledge and religious understanding without compromising either. The second stream is the reformative stream, and this stream acts as a bridge between its classical Islamic thought and contemporary scientific understanding. The reformative streams adapts traditional Islamic perspectives to what? To resonate with modern scientific knowledge, with encouraging reinterpretation and evolving comprehension of Islamic principles in light of new discoveries. The next one is the traditional stream. The traditional stream prioritizes preserving the authenticity of classical Islamic philosophy, with emphasizing the timelessness and universality of Islamic teachings. I mean, it maintains foundational principles and also interpretations without compromising their original essence. The next one is the textual stream, the Zawahir streams. Right. So this stream draws strength from direct references within Islamic scriptures, aiming to validate scientific findings through what? Through faith-based interpretations, showcasing correlations between scientific discoveries and religious texts. All right, and the last one is the conceptual streams. The conceptual streams delves deep into fundamental Islamic philosophical concepts, with offering insights into the philosophical underpinnings of Islam and their implications for scientific inquiry. So this stream elucidates connections between Islamic philosophical concepts and scientific investigation. So overall in this part, we could say that each stream contributes a unique perspective, enriching the discourse on the relationship between scientific knowledge and Islamic teachings. And together, they form a diverse set of approaches catering to different viewpoints and interpretations in reconciling scientific inquiry with Islamic principles. As I mentioned in introduction part, I had decided to bring a few scholars that related to this agenda. I mean the agenda of Islamic science and the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge. So the first scholar that I decided to bring out his idea on the agenda is Syed Muhammad Naqli Al-Atas. Alright, so Syed Muhammad Naqli Al-Atas overall put forward a nuanced perspective distinguishing between Islamic science and science in Islam, which he grounds his ideas in Islamic epistemology, philosophy, and worldview, emphasizing the distinct approach to science within the Islamic framework. In his writing, I forgot the title of this of his book, but this book is focusing on the metaphysical in Islam, which Al-Atas highlights the central role of deen, signifying a deeply experienced reality in individuals' lives within Islam. So he brings the concept of submission to God. So this submission to God encapsulates the essence of religion, involving belief, feeling, and action. So central to this submission is the acknowledgement of indebtedness to God for existence. And he also mentioned about the objective of religion, as he mentioned that the objective of religion is for humans to return to a pre-existent state, seeking identity and transcendent destiny through righteous conduct. This journey involves pursuing knowledge and understanding God's signs in nature and applying senses and reason to grasp truth, which he underscores the inseparability of religion and belief between Islam and Iman, transcending mere faith to align oneself with the truth and trust God has bestowed. Regarding nature, Islam, as mentioned by Al-Atas, Islam doesn't oppose desacralization if it dispels mythical notions, viewing nature as a manifestation of divine consciousness. We could say that, however, it opposes desacralization if it diminishes spiritual meaning or limits understanding to scientific matters. Al-Atas asserts that God is not a mutable symbol, but its reality itself, transcending temporal changes and remaining the ultimate truth. So, Al-Atas examines the divergence between true religion and secular philosophy science, focusing on their different approaches to knowledge. He contrasts modern philosophy's interpretation of scientific results, shaping worldviews and determining scientific inquiry's trajectory with the Islamic perspective. Al-Atas also outlines fundamental assumptions of modern science and philosophy, with critiquing their limited perspectives, which he questions how rationalism and empiricism confine reality to the observable world, neglecting spiritual significance and limiting knowledge to reason and experience. Okay, so he challenges scientific preferences for hypotheses based on societal conventions rather than objective truth, and critiques the sole reliance on doubt as a path to discovering truth. And also acknowledging similarities between traditional philosophical scientific perspectives and modern thought, Al-Atas also underscores the fundamental differences originating from divergent worldviews concerning the ultimate nature of reality. Al-Atas also emphasizes revelation as the source of knowledge, distinguishing this perspective from modern secular philosophies and establishing a metaphysical framework independent of their methods. And also in his book, Al-Attas delves into the sources of knowledge, with affirming that knowledge originates from God and is acquired through sound senses, through authority, sound reason, and intuition. So Al-Attas expands the definitions of sound reason and intuition, presenting reason as an aspect of the intellect functioning in harmony with the heart. So his discourse broadens the concept of intuition beyond immediate perception to include direct apprehension of religious truth and the existence of God. He distinguishes between different levels of intuition, indicating how higher levels provide a comprehensive understanding of reality surpassing reason and empirical observation. Al-Attas also underscores the connectedness of reason and intuition within human cognition and emphasizes how intuition, in its highest form, offers a holistic understanding of reality beyond reason and empirical observation. And as he mentioned that he emphasizes revelation and tradition as sources of true knowledge of ultimate reality, distinguishing varying levels of authority and intuition, and also attributing the highest authority to the Holy Quran and the tradition of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Al-Attas outlines a philosophy presenting a comprehensive worldview where existence, change, and permanence are intertwined, which is, we could say that his framework offers a distinct approach to comprehending the universe, integrating spiritual and metaphysical considerations into the study of empirical phenomena. So this comprehensive metaphysical framework forms the foundation of Al-Attas' philosophy of science, positioning it within this broader understanding of existence, change, and permanence. So his philosophy also aligns with a broader understanding rooted in Islamic metaphysics, and it offers a unique lens through which to view existence and scientific inquiry within an Islamic context. On the next part is I bring the Sheikh Mustafa Sabri views on rational and Islam. I mean the relation between rational and religion, which is Sheikh Mustafa Sabri in his book Mawqiful Aql, he identified two significant assaults targeting Islamic thought. So the first one is the first attack originates from Western civilization itself, where the belief in the primacy of intellectual axioms was progressively challenged, particularly in the 19th and 20th centuries. Instead, science emerged as the supreme measure of truth, superior to intellect, logic, philosophy, metaphysics, and even religion. So this transition affected the Western belief system, gradually shifting from revering intellect to emphasizing empirical science as the ultimate arbiter of truth. That's the first one. The second one is, as identified by Sheikh Mustafa Sabri, comes from spiritual or mystical movement such as Sufi, existentialism, and occultism, which these movements challenged the role of intellect in seeking truth, advocating that truth doesn't solely arise from reasoned arguments, organized thinking, or logic. Instead, they claim that spiritual experiences like inspirations and revelations hold highest truth, even if they contradict intellectual reasoning. So Sheikh Mustafa Sabri was concerned about these assaults because he saw the intellect as a foundational pillar of Islamic teachings. He and other theologians, also well known as mutakallimun, believe that intellect serves as a shared aspect among humans, one that could be proven and universally accepted. Conversely, spiritual experiences are subjective and not universally shareable or provable. We could say that science, based on empirical senses, as mentioned by Mustafa Sabri, often denies the existence of non-physical and immaterial entities, providing a contrasting perspective. Sheikh Mustafa Sabri also aimed to address these challenges to safeguard the status of intellect within Islamic teachings. He highlighted that if intellect lost its trustworthiness, the foundation of Islam would weaken. This concern was particularly relevant during Sheikh Mustafa Sabri's time, when in that time various Muslim intellectuals influenced by scientism and Sufi existentialism started undermining the science of Kalam. Science of Kalam meaning Islamic theology based on reason. Some intellectuals like Dr. Ahmad Amin argued that debates and discussions in matters of creed religion did not lead to universally acceptable formulations, unlike scientific knowledge. They suggested that people rarely embraced Islam based on intellectual arguments, but mostly through matters of the heart, emotions, or spiritual inclinations. So consequently, some advocated relying solely on Sufi mysticism to convey religion, reflecting a dominant trend among Muslims in that era. Sheikh Mustafa Sabri traced the West's opposition to intellect back to historical clashes within Christian teachings and logic. This conflict led to various streams of thought within Christianity, some disregarding intellect in religion, while others favored intellect of religion. And another stream leaned towards science and questioned the roles of both religion and intellect. Concurrently, there was an inclination suggesting the development of Islam through Sufi mysticism, sidelining the role of intellect in favor of spiritual path involving revelation and inspiration. So, in his scrutiny, Sheikh Mustafa Sabri criticized ideologies and concepts like those found in the work of philosophers such as Ibn Arabi, as the notion of Wahdatul Wujud, which he found contradictory to Islamic creed. His aspiration emphasized the importance of intellect in religious understandings and sought to uphold the significance of rationality within Islamic teachings, countering the challenges posed by both Western intellectual shifts and mystical movements. And the next part is I bring the Ibn Taymiyyah's perspective on the relationship between reason and revelation. So I could say that his perspective indeed comprehensive and deeply rooted in Islamic theology, which Ibn Taymiyyah emphasizes the harmony between these two sources and provides a framework for handling conflicts or perceived contradictions between rational evidence and textual sources. His framework, groundedly in three pillars, provides a systematic approach to reconcile any apparent contradictions. The first one is rejecting genuine contradiction. Which is if evidence from reason and revelation is conclusive, there cannot be a real contradiction between them. And the second one is prioritizing stronger evidence. In the case of conflict between non-conclusive evidence, the stronger evidence, whether rational or textual, takes precedence. And the third one is precedent for conclusive evidence, which is where when there is a conflict between conclusive and non-conclusive evidence, the conclusive evidence, be it rational or textual, should always hold priority. So this approach ensures that both rational and textual sources of knowledge are recognized as valid in Islamic law. Ibn Taymiyyah's rejection of a strict separation between rational and textual evidence aligned with his belief that valid rational arguments are embedded within textual sources, covering aspects like the existence of God and the truthfulness of the Prophet, para Anbiya. And moreover, he rejects the idea of dividing existing realities into perceived and rational categories. Instead, Ibn Taymiyyah asserts that every true reality must be potentially accessible through sensory perception, either externally or internally. This perspective, different from the theologians and philosophers' ontology, which divides reality into observable and unseen aspects only. Ibn Taymiyyah's stance also underscores that assessing reality primarily occurs through sensory perception, reasoning, or a combination of both. So this approach applies to both physical and metaphysical matters, while observations and deductions can aid in understanding certain aspects of the unseen. Revelations provide exclusive insights into matters beyond sensory capacity. Ibn Taymiyyah's approach has implications for harmonizing science and religion, which he emphasizes that conflicts between scientific theories and religious texts are not inherent but arise from specific scientific theories that contradict religious narratives. Most scientific theories are speculative and do not directly oppose religious beliefs, aligning with empirical evidence and rational inference. So, therefore, conflicts can often be resolved by acknowledging the speculative nature of some scientific theories compared to the certainty of divine revelations. We could see that his views on causality also reveal a balanced approach that integrates religious principles and empirical observations. Ibn Taymiyyah recognized natural causes and religious causes, addressing human actions that are both consciously chosen and without choice. He does not deny the impact of natural forces and believes that these causes act as intermediaries in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creation. So Ibn Taymiyyah's approach allows for a balanced and harmonious relationship between reason, revelation, science, and religion. It enables the integration of different sources of knowledge without undermining the authority of any, and offers a framework to navigate conflicts or perceived contradictions in a way that preserve the integrity of both reason and revelation. His perspectives also are crucial in the context of constructing an Islamic philosophy of science, and studying his critiques and views and reviews can significantly contribute to a more comprehensive theoretical framework. The next part is what can we do to achieve the concept, or the integration between the Naqli and Aqli knowledge. So we should say that the integration between Naqli and Aqli knowledge within Islamic thought is a pursuit that requires a nuanced approach and a deep understanding of both realms. So I provide some steps and perspectives that can aid in their integration. So the first one is the reconnection of complementarity. What can we do? We should acknowledge that Naqli and Aqli knowledge are not in conflict, but are complementary aspects of understanding reality. And we should understand that both realms offer distinct yet interconnected perspectives on truth and can mutually enrich each other. The second one is harmonizing interpretations. So, what can we do in this part is strive to interpret and understand religious texts through a lens that incorporates rational thought without distorting their original meanings. And also we should avoid literalism in interpreting religious texts and engage in contextual analysis and considering historical, linguistic, and cultural factors. The third one is empirical validation of Naqli knowledge, which we need to seek empirical validation or corroboration of Naqli knowledge where possible. For example, explore scientific or historical evidence that may align with or support religious narratives. The next one is engagement with rational inquiry. Encourage critical thinking and rational inquiry within the framework of religious teachings, which we can use Aql reasoning to explore and deepen understanding of religious concepts. The next one is synergy in education and discourse. What can we do? We can promote education that fosters a holistic approach with integrating both Naqli and Aqli knowledge, which is we encourage discussions and dialogues that bridge the gap between these realms. And also we need to facilitate an environment where scholars, theologians, scientists and philosophers can collaborate, share insights and explore intersections between religious doctrines and rational inquiry. The next one is adopt a comprehensive approach, which we need to embrace a comprehensive worldview that acknowledges the limitations of human knowledge and seeks a balance between faith-based convictions and rational exploration. And also we might understand that some aspects of religious teachings may transcend rational comprehension, and their acceptance might rely on faith or spiritual insight. Okay, the next one is we need to respect for tradition and reason, which is the value and respect the rational traditional teachings. While acknowledging the importance of critical thinking and reason, aql, in understanding and interpreting these teachings. The next one is continued exploration and reflection. So we should encourage continuous exploration, scholarship and reflection on the relationship between Naqli and Aqli knowledge. So this involves ongoing intellectual engagement and open-mindedness. The next one is embrace diversity of interpretation, where we need to appreciate the diversity of interpretations within Islamic scholarship. With what? With recognizing that multiple valid perspectives can exist within the framework of Naqli and Aqli knowledge. The next one is guidance from scholars. So this is the part, this is the most important part, which we have to seek guidance from scholars who specialize in both religious studies and rational inquiry, leveraging their expertise to navigate the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge. And the last one is spiritual development, where we need to recognize that the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge is not just an intellectual endeavor, but also a spiritual one. Cultivate humility, sincerity, and a connection with the divine in this pursuit. So the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge is a continuous and evolving journey within Islamic thought, aiming for a harmonious convergence that enrich understanding, spirituality, and intellectual discourse. So, in a nutshell, from my study on this topic, which the agenda of Islamic science and the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge, I conclude that the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge within Islamic thought stands as a testament to the intricate harmony between faith and reason. This journey of convergence, deeply embedded within the fabric of Islamic scholarships, presents a compelling narrative of unity, enriching our understanding of reality through a synthesis that bridge tradition, empirical inquiry, and spiritual insight. As its core, this integration champions a holistic approach, acknowledging the symbiotic relationship between Naql and Aql. It calls for a nuanced understanding that transcends apparent dichotomies, embracing the interconnectedness and complementarity of these realms of knowledge. So the journey toward integration necessitates a multifaceted approach. It involves harmonizing interpretations of religious texts through contextual analysis while seeking empirical validation where possible, and it encourages critical thinking, dialogue, and education that fuse religious teachings and rational inquiry, nurturing an environment conducive to scholarly exploration and appreciation of diverse perspectives. But however, this integration is not merely an intellectual pursuit, but it is a transformative journey that encompasses spiritual growth. And recognizing the limitations of reason in grasping the entirety of religious teachings, it calls for humility, fostering a balance between faith-based acceptance and rational comprehension. So, in essence, the integration of Naqli and Aqli knowledge within Islamic thought serve as a beacon, illuminating a pathway to a deeper understanding of reality, and it fosters a synergy that not only enriches our comprehension of religious teachings, but we could say that it is also elevates our appreciation of the interplay between faith, rational inquiry, and the pursuit of truth. So this harmonious convergence offers not only a broader comprehension of Islamic thought, but it also a timeless invitation to engage in a continual quest for unity, dialogue, and holistic understanding within the grand tapestry of human knowledge. So that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.